All right, how we doing? Did anything good happen this weekend?
No.
No? You sound like most students. Have a good time in the game?
Yeah.
All right. Anybody get in trouble?
Not yet.
It's not really, not yet? Okay. Still got the helmet hid under your bed somewhere or something? All right.
Okay. I understand the principle. Why are they asking for like $1,000 worth of gear back? I get it, but like we're also getting.
Why is the team asking for it?
Yeah, we're getting.
It's personal property. You can't take it.
They took a fish fighter.
Did they take it or was it given away?
The helmet was traded for the fish fighter.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably work it out. Look, in the heat of the moment, yeah, that's sometimes. This is also this, like, when we make really stupid decisions. Like, you ever done something in high school and you're like, holy shit, that was real dumb? Like, I'm lucky to be alive kind of thing? Because in the heat of the moment, yeah, Mike is like, yeah, a lot of times. Okay. Yeah, look, it's emotional the way it went. But then you got to realize, oh, I should probably give this back. You're like a raptor. You're always testing the fence for weakness. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, what did we do last week? Quizzes. Yeah, apparently I'm cheap because I don't want to pay. Or I'm smart because I don't want to pay. Okay, so we're going to go over some stuff today, be a little different. Last week, a little more fun. This week, a little more on the lecture side. But please engage. Like the goal, I still want you to engage. So you have questions, things to add, please interject. We're going to cover some things today. I don't give you a test on it. I think Alex is the only one that had me for 281. So this may be a little bit of review for him. We'll see what he remembers or not. Okay? But there's a reason we're doing it. All right. Here's how your brain works. You have an instinctive system, right? You know that fire is hot, ice is cold, and what your mother looks like in a crowd. What's today's date, Hannah? It's okay, we're working out good. What's 15 times 15?
Oh, geez.
225.
Nice. All right, good. See, still working on it. Okay. Math, not a strong suit. Engineer?
No.
Oh, good. Well, good for you. Okay. Should we invest in GameStop?
No.
Okay. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. That's the associative system. That takes a minute sometimes. Sometimes you have to figure it out. You'll figure it out. Okay. You'll get to 15:15. You figure out what the date is. Okay. But it takes a minute. Here's the problem. Your brain is very lazy. All of ours. We make instinctive decisions using the associative decision making. Okay. Excuse me. We use our instinct to make hard decisions, right? Which is not what we should always do. Okay. We'll get into that. Cognitive bias refers to a systematic error in the thinking process. Such biases are often connected to a heuristic, which is just a mental shortcut, right? Heuristics allow one to make an inference without extensive deliberation or reflective judgment, given they are essentially schemas for such solutions. Humans are irrational. If you don't believe me, date somebody. And you'll find out whether it's you or them. Guess what? It's both of you. All right? We make decisions on emotions, not objective data. Right? As you're seeing playing out in politics right now. Something to add, Will? Something to add?
Just the fact that humans are irrational is just very true.
That's exactly right. Okay. Anybody has statistics? What do we do with statistics, Stone?
Find data.
Find data and does it? Huh?
Compare data.
Yeah. And is it always accurate?
Nope.
Why not?
Because human error.
Human error and what else? What do you do with variables?
It changes completely every time.
Yeah, we can take them out, right? If there's an outlier, we'll take it out. Be like, oh, let's just eliminate that variable. And then it changes the data. Okay. What's the saying? Statistics are a way to tell a half-truth inaccurately. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to go through a whole bunch of biases. Right? And you think, I'm not a biased person. Yeah, you are. And I'm going to prove it today. Okay. So see where you are. More than likely, you see others. You'll be like, oh, yeah, my buddy's this way. Your boyfriend, girlfriend's this way. My parents are like this. Guess what? You have these too. Find where you are. Okay? Anchoring bias. The first piece of data we were given sets the baseline for an entire discussion. This involves negotiations with money. First offer tends to establish the range of expectations. All right. When you graduate and you're interviewing and you're looking for jobs, okay, and you want to make 100K right out of school, right? And you sit down, and they offer you a job. My God, it's a miracle. You guys made it. Can you believe it, Mason? Probably won't happen, but hang in there, buddy, okay? Mason sits down. He wants 100K for the offer, and they offer you 50. Offer you 50K. Are you going to negotiate that up to 100?
I'd like to, but I mean, being that it's your first job, you don't really have a leg to stand on that.
No, exactly right. What'd you say, Hannah? No, you're not. Now, you might get to 55. You might even get to 60. Are you getting to 100,000 with that 50,000 offer? No. Okay. Now, judges, believe it or not, juries are a little harder. Anybody want to be a lawyer in here? Did you have a few? Okay, judges are actually really good at being pretty fair, right? They're pretty good with handing out penalties and all that good stuff. Juries are a little tougher because you got more people. But judges in this country are actually really, really good at being pretty fair, right? So they took some judges and wanted to see if this was true. So they give some judges a bunch of cases that are already done. Here's the crime. Grant stole a helmet, okay, and he's going to get punished, right? And so we look at the crime, and before the judges assign the sentence, they hand him a dice, and it's a 12-sided die, right? So you can roll up to 12. The dice is loaded, so it'll come up like 10, 11, 12, a higher number. So they look at the case, see, all right, here's the person, here's what they did wrong. They roll the dice, and then they assign the penalty. What happened when they assigned the penalty? Higher number, why?
Because they were seeing higher numbers.
Because they were seeing higher numbers. What did that have to do with anything?
It's the mindset.
Huh?
It's the mindset.
Yeah. It's literally simply because they saw higher numbers, they handed out harsher penalties. Right? Automation bias. Anybody want to be a pilot? You have some of those too. No? Okay. This happened. We use systems to eliminate human error. Trader? Will, do you trade? A little. Okay, fine. Fair enough. All right. Couple pilots were sitting on autopilot, right, cruising along. I think they were flying to Minneapolis, right? And they overflew Minneapolis by 2 hours. Problem. Not only talking about missing connecting flights for all the passengers on board, we're talking about fuel, safety, being able to make it to the destination, all that good stuff. They were just sitting up there bullshitting. No bueno. They got fired. Okay, they were relying on autopilot. All right. There was a company that said they wanted to trade stock. Okay, and they said, let's make a system that'll do it for us. It can keep an eye on it. Because if you trade, you can set buy limits and sell limits and all this good stuff. And they made software, and they said, okay, we're going to have this do it for us because it can watch it better than we can keep up with it. They implemented their system. It traded away $500 million in a day and almost bankrupted the company. $500 million. Okay, almost ruined the company entirely. Self-driving cars. Do we need them?
Yes.
Yeah, you do. You know why? Because all of you are driving like this. Makes me lose my mind. It's like, I saw a girl take a selfie while driving the other day. Yeah, like on on Welborn Road, kind of by Cowfield.
Your generation does it too.
Huh?
You guys do it too.
Oh, everyone does it, right?
We're good at it.
No, you're not. That's why there's 10 million accidents. That's why I got in an accident in July. That's why there's so many accidents at College Station as soon as the students return. Okay? We need self-driving cars. There's a reason they're happening right now, because everyone is texting. Right? And they've got cars that can do it all. Right? Literally can do it all right now. It's just a matter of getting approval, and nobody trusts them. It's crazy. Have you seen it? You seen the cities?
They're not self-driving cars because they can't also text for you. You can't do that.
You can text while you're driving.
But
Sit
what's
back,
the
put your
point?
feet up.
I don't want to do anything.
You don't want to do anything?
I need to be like in Wall-E.
That's where you're headed, buddy. Okay. All right. Availability heuristic. Okay. We give more credence to information we are already aware of, even if it's in our subconscious. This is particularly true if it's dramatic or emotionally charged. This is what CNN and Fox News do. They're feeding you the information that you're already kind of aware of to build on it. Right? They are trying to magnify this effect. Right? If Trump's a horrible person, CNN's going to tell you Trump's a horrible person. If Biden's a terrible person, Fox is going to tell you Biden's a terrible person. Because you're already a little bit aware of it. Okay? And they just want to build on that. Doesn't have to be just politics too. Bandwagon effect. More likely to believe something to be true if others around us believe it to be true. Conversely, if people think it's not true, you will also think it's not true. Okay? Groupthink. Any business majors in here? Anybody at Mays? Sort of. Do we just have nobody has goals or aspirations in here? Okay. Huh?
Getting a minor.
Okay, good. Has anybody heard of groupthink? What's groupthink, Micah?
Like whenever you're in a group and everybody just gets on the same train.
Yeah, exactly. You ever been doing a group project and you start on it and everything's going fine, and then you're like, this is not going well. This is not going to go well. We've done a terrible job. Do you say anything? No, you're like, screw it. We'll just keep doing this terrible idea, and it'll be great. And then it goes terribly, okay? That's exactly what happens. Don't lose your thought. It's a mode of thinking engaged when people are deeply involved in a cohesive group. This is usually people that get along. You work in an organization, okay, and come up with an idea, and you just keep going. It makes it hard for organizations to question their own assumptions, right? And it leads to irrational decisions. This is y'all at work pretty soon. You are going to get jobs, and you're going to be the new guy, right? Have the courage to stand up and be like, I'm not sure this is a good idea. Okay, how you do it matters. You good, Folsom? Stand up if you need to. Base rate fallacy. We have an innate tendency to ignore general information, focus instead on data that's more specific but less meaningful when the data says what we want it to. You ever been shopping on Amazon? You see the reviews, right? There's 5,000 reviews of 4.5 stars. Pretty good product? You'll find the one review that says it's terrible and not buy it. Why?
Because one person
Huh?
stands out.
No.
One person had a very good experience, so you could have that negative experience.
Yeah, you're just trying to justify not buying it. You're like, oh, see, it's terrible. 5,000 people said it's fine. One guy's like, well, mine didn't work. Oh, well, it's a shitty product. Okay? You're literally you're going off the information that you want it to say, even though the data says otherwise. Okay? Chrysler was building a car. Engineers? Do I have any engineers in here? Okay, Chrysler was building a car, right? And there was a metric where it would measure how often the car had to be repaired, which meant it was a piece of shit. Okay? And they fixed that one metric so that it had to be repaired less often. They're still building a shitty car. They didn't make the car better. They were just fixing small things. Wrong data to look at. Okay. All right. Clustering illusion. Humans are hardwired to look for patterns, so much so that we see them when they don't exist. This is why we see faces on Mars, right? Okay, or a cloud looks like an alligator or whatever. If you want to be an entrepreneur, this is actually a bit of a threat because you think you will find the patterns. You think you're going to make it, even though most don't. It's really hard to be an entrepreneur, a very successful one. So be aware of this if you have desires of being an entrepreneur, because you'll look for patterns that just aren't there. Confirmation bias. Okay? Unconscious act of referencing only those perspectives that fuel our existing views. Again, Fox and CNN, right? While at the same time dismissing or ignoring opinions, no matter how valid, that threaten our worldview. You ever been arguing with somebody? Or having a conversation, you disagree, and they make a really good point? What do?
Keep going.
Keep arguing. Do you ever say, oh, yeah, that's an excellent point. Thank you for changing my mind. Have you ever done that?
Hell no.
Of course Ryan hasn't.
Depends how emotional I am.
Absolutely. Okay, now listen, I'm going to warn you, okay? When you're in a relationship and you get an argument, okay, you get like, your brain devolves to like reptile level intelligence, right? Which is why you say dumb shit when you get in an argument, okay? Say something mean, right? It's because you're stupid. Like, you get upset, you get emotional, and you can't even think logically. It's literally how your brain works, okay? Again, this has to do with political views and opinions. Here's how it affects the workforce, okay? New companies can succeed at beating well-established older companies. If you go work for some place, large organization or whatever, and you ask them questions, why do we do it that way? And you get, finally, they don't want to answer you. You ever ask your parents why over and over when you were a kid? And they're like, just because, okay? It's a terrible answer. We're just trying to shut you up, okay? If a company ever says, because we've always done it that way, that's a terrible answer. That's not a good answer, all right? It's okay to question things. Does anybody know Fortune 100 companies, top 100 companies in the country? Do you know how long about average life to stay in the Fortune 100 is?
2 years.
No, longer than that.
6.
About 30. Really not very long in the grand scheme of things. These are the top 100 companies in the country. They stay up there about 100 years. It never stays stagnant. Okay? Okay, curse of knowledge. Oh, I'm so damn smart. It's a burden, right, Alex? Yeah, see? You guys are dragging ass today. Once you truly understand a piece of information, that piece of information is now available to you and becomes seemingly obvious. It's easy to forget there was a time when you didn't know it, so you assume others know it. You ever been studying with somebody and you're trying to explain something and they don't get it? Okay? Or you're the one that doesn't get it? That was usually me. Okay? You know, once you truly get it, you can't even believe that other people don't know it. Okay? You guys didn't even used to know how to tie your shoes. Okay? When you're a toddler, it was hard. You're struggling. Now you don't even think about it, right? Okay? When you're working with somebody and you'll be like, how do you not understand this? You're like, bro, I don't know it. Okay? I haven't learned it. But once you know it, you think everybody knows it. Okay? Who likes their TV? Nice. Okay, good, Wes. Plasma or LCD? Which is better?
OLED.
Huh?
OLED.
Plasma or LCD?
No.
LCD. Okay. Anyone plasma? Anyone? Everyone asleep?
I think they're just like,
By the way, how'd that kick go in? That kick almost missed. Yeah, good. Now you're awake. Okay, good. All right. No, I'm not talking about the game right now. Okay, you should have been here earlier. All right. Plasma is a far superior product. It's a better TV than LCD. Okay? So the engineers for plasma made a better product. The marketers for LCD won. When you go into Walmart to buy a TV, what's it look like in the store? All the TVs are up there. Is it bright?
Yes.
All the lights are on? When you're at home watching a movie, do you have all the lights on? No, it's dark, right? In the stores, it was bright as hell, and the LCD looked better. So marketers knew that. So they even though it was an inferior product, marketing won. Okay? So they screwed up. Hindsight bias, okay? Again, how many times did Bama beat us in a row? 9? Right? So they should have won, right? They've won 9 in a row. They've won 100 games against unranked opponents. Jimbo's never lost to a former assistant. Does any of that matter on Saturday? No, it doesn't. Okay? That's hindsight bias. Once we have information in an event, it seemed obvious it was going to happen. I should have seen it coming. Okay? No, you shouldn't have. You had no idea it was going to happen. Okay? Anybody play baseball? Softball? Nobody? Is everybody asleep? Awesome. I'm on fire today. Okay? We tend to draw different conclusions from the same information depending on how it was presented. Right? Advertisers and political spin doctors use this to their advantage. You're watching a baseball game, and the pitcher throws a ball, and the catcher tries to do what? Move the ball to do what? Make it look like a strike, right? So the umpire calls a strike. That's the framing effect. We're taking the same information, and we're trying to frame it so it looks how we want. You guys are, you're new in your workforce, okay? And your employer says, I want you to go evaluate this company because we're thinking about buying it. Tell us what you think. If you come back and say, here's all the positives if we buy this company, what's the company going to do? Probably buy it. If Hannah comes back and says, here's all the negative things that will happen if we buy this company, what are they going to do? Not. Same information. Literally depends how it was presented. Okay? Xerox. Who knows what Xerox is or does? Stone?
It's the old copies that were like.
They make copiers.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Xerox literally made everything in the modern computer. Okay? Your desktops, laptops, everything. They made basically everything that does that. They didn't view themselves as a computer company. So they stuck with copiers. Could have been Apple, right? But didn't see them that well. Didn't see themselves that way. Not smart. Any degenerate gamblers like myself? Good. Folsom's awake. Again, this is like the Bama A&M game, right? Future probabilities are altered by past events. If you watch College Game Day, Lee Corso will always say, they've won 4 out of the last 5. Again, doesn't matter. Has no bearing, right? If you flip a coin, it's 50-50, right? You ever see the gender reveal parties when somebody's pregnant? It's the boy or it's 50-50, bro. You're having a boy or a girl. It's one or the other. If you have a lizard, I'll be shocked, okay? But you're going to have a boy or a girl. It's 50-50, okay? You ever flip a coin and been shocked? Heads? Holy shit. Heads? Never saw that coming. 50-50. By the way, it's actually 51-49 if a human does it. You know why? No. What'd you say, the weight? No. Huh? No.
Which side starts off?
Huh?
Which side starts off?
No. You'll influence it. Okay? If Stone's calling it and I don't like Stone and I see that it maybe landed heads, I'll turn it over. Okay? Or vice versa, right? If I want him to get it and I see it, I'll influence it. So if a human does it, it's 51-49. If a machine or robot does it, it's 50-50. Okay? There was a roulette table. It wasn't in Vegas, but there's a roulette. Everybody know what roulette is? That's where you spin the ball and it lands on a number. Okay, huh? Okay. So they spin the ball and it lands on like red 16. Okay, and they do it again, and there's like 30-something numbers, right? And then yellow or green and 0 and 00 and all this stuff. Okay, and it's red and black and all this stuff. So it lands on red 16. Spin the ball. Hits it again, red 16. Spin the ball, hits again, red 16. How is everybody betting? No. Why? There's no way it's going to happen again. It hit like something like 9 times in a row. Statistically, yes, the odds are insanely low. Okay? But everyone's like, oh, there's no way it'll happen again. Had you kept betting that, right, it pays like 33-1. So it just would have kept hitting and hitting and hitting. Right? Some journalists came up with an idea. They were looking at the stock market, and they said, I bet blindfolded monkeys could do better than professional financial investors. Okay? So they said, let's do a study. Now, it's really hard, which means almost impossible, to get approval to blindfold monkeys, right, for testing purposes. So they use themselves. Back in the day, all the stocks were in the newspaper. They blindfolded themselves. They took darts and they threw it at the newspaper on the wall and invested. Okay, they pretend they invested. How did they do compared to the financial investor experts? They did just about as well. Literally almost as well. Okay, blindfolded monkeys could do it just as well. Okay, guessing in the stock market. Loss aversion. Given a choice, we'd rather avoid a loss than reap a reward. Why did Blockbuster Video go out of business? Could have bought Netflix twice for cheap. Why did they go out of business? Huh?
They didn't expand time.
No. They had stores everywhere. Kendall?
They didn't want to adapt to the new market.
Part of it. Yeah, that's part of it. Do you know what they didn't want to lose? Anybody actually go to a Blockbuster when you were a kid? Nice. You can tell your grandkids one day. I have students that don't believe me that Netflix mails DVDs. That's how they started. Okay?
I still have one in my house.
Nice. Yeah.
We've had for like 2 years.
Okay. What happened at Blockbuster if you didn't take the movie back in time?
You got fees.
Late fees. 60% of their business came from late fees. Okay? They didn't want to lose that. Completely moronic way to look at it. Okay? They were afraid to lose those late fees, all right? Polaroid, anybody know what Polaroid does? What do? Right? Cameras and film, okay? Polaroid was one of the first people to make digital cameras, okay? They were in on that early, but they didn't take over the market because they didn't want to lose their revenue in film. Have any of you even seen film? Okay, nice. Good, all right, you guys are ancient. Tell your grandkids. By the way, I don't know where people keep their drugs anymore because everybody used to use film canisters. Okay. Now you learn to be the only thing you remember today. Okay. All right. Here's the thing. Who wants $1,000? Okay. I'll give you $1,000 at the end of the year, or I'll give you $300 today. What are you taking? Really? Who's taking the 1,000? Who's taking 300 today? Yes. Okay. Why, Will? I need that shit right now, right, Kendall?
If I know I'm getting 1,000 at the end of the year, I'm gonna put myself in debt and like, oh, I'll have the money later.
Okay, good. So you know you're not going to do well if I tell you you're getting it. You're going to spend it before you even get it. Okay, yeah. Typically, all right, we'd rather take the thing first, right? We'd rather take you're like, I need it now, okay? This is true. Kevin Hart, comedian. We like Kevin Hart, okay? He was working small time, right? Trying in the clubs and everything, doing stand up, and he was a shoe salesman, right? And he was broke, okay? And his manager calls him. He's like, "Hey, we got a special for you. We're gonna pay you $100,000." He's like, "Oh my God, sweet! I need it right now." He goes, "No, you don't understand. That's not enough. They're not offering you enough money for what you're worth." First special he was gonna do, okay? He's like, "I need the money now, okay? I'm broke, trying to make it. You good? All right, make sure you wait. If you guys need to stand up for a minute, stand up." Okay? And he has to wait. His manager says, "No, just hold on." And his manager got him like $250,000. Okay? So it was quite a jump because the guy offering the deal knew that it was his first special and knew they could get him for cheap. The manager knew they could get him for more. Okay? Negativity bias. You ever done some stupid shit? You think about it still? Like 3 a.m, you're like, "God damn it, why did I say that?" In 8th grade. She's gone, bro. She doesn't think about you anymore. Okay? It doesn't matter. Right? Wasn't going to change anything. We recall unpleasant memories more vividly than positive ones. We tend to overweigh bad experiences, sometimes giving them more credence than they deserve. Now, this can protect you from making the same mistake twice. That's a good thing. All right? But it leads to undervaluing positive experiences. It's usually easier for us to remember stupid shit we did than when things went well. Right? Normalcy bias. Why weren't there enough lifeboats on the Titanic?
Because it wasn't normal for that. Like, they didn't think it would sink.
Yeah, unsinkable, right? Where's that son of a bitch right now? Bottom of the ocean. Okay. This is also COVID, right? Bill Gates did a TED Talk in like 2016 or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, there's going to be a disease that's going to come, and it's gonna mess up the whole world. You should watch it. It's incredible." I mean, he's talking about exactly what happened. Okay, we weren't going to be ready for it. This is when we can't see it coming, and we don't put any value, right? We might hear that there's a hurricane coming, but until it's on our front door, we won't prepare a lot of times. Okay? It leads to underestimating the odds of a worst case scenario, and we minimize the impact. Read that first stat. Is that true? Statistically impossible. Okay? Who thinks they're a good driver and everyone else is terrible? Most of you. You're from San Diego. They don't know how to. And who's from Texas? Your cars come with turn signals. I don't know if you know this. You don't have to put fluid in there or anything. Okay? Your cars have turn signals, right? None of you use them. And if you do, they're just coming over, right? You see a turn signal, that car's actually just coming, right? So better get out of the way, okay? Again, same thing for entrepreneurs. You all think you're going to make it despite small businesses averaging 5 years at best. If you're in a good mood, you think good things will happen. Bad mood, bad things will happen, okay? In either case, be aware that your emotions are making irrational decisions, right? Your emotions will get the best of you. Okay? Hang in there. We're almost done. Ostrich effect. We don't like bad news. In fact, we will go to great lengths to avoid bad news. Okay? Everybody loves a winner. What if Calzada just got lucky? Right? We'll find out, okay? But we rarely question somebody who's been successful, right? If they've got a pretty good track record, but again, kind of like the group project, somebody's leading a group project and they've done a pretty good job before, if you start down a path that's not good, we will rarely question them if they've been successful in the past. Don't be afraid of that. Overconfidence. Success leads us to place too much faith in our own expertise. Okay, they did an experiment and they were forecasting stuff. How many hurricanes were going to happen? What the price of gold was going to do, what type of real estate should I invest in, okay? And they took experts in all these categories, and they pitted them against you, amateurs, okay? They told Gabriel, figure out what the price of gold's going to do. Told Declan, figure out how many hurricanes we're going to have this year, okay? And they compared how successful they were, amateurs versus the experts. Who did better? Why?
They took into consideration everything.
Huh?
They took into consideration everything and thought it through.
Yeah, If you're an amateur, what are you going to do? Yeah, and ask questions, right? Go figure it out. If you don't know shit about what the price of gold is going to do, you're going to go check. What do the experts do? They got it, right? I know. You don't know shit. Okay, I got this. Okay. Overconfidence. See it often. Abilene. Anybody from Abilene? This might be the only one you remember the name of. There was a family, summer vacation, in Texas. Put the family in the car, and they drove to Abilene, Texas, in the summer for vacation. Grant, why in God's name would you do that?
It's like what makes it worse.
Okay, why did the family do it? You're right, they did. They went on vacation. It was not great. It's hot as balls. Everything sucked, and they get back, and they're like, I didn't really want to do that. Like, you didn't want to go? I didn't want to go. Why'd they go?
They thought someone else wanted to
Huh?
go. They thought someone else wanted to go.
Yeah, just nobody wanted to say no. None of them wanted to, but once the idea was presented, no one was willing to stand up and say no. Okay?
Those kids went like,
I don't want to go to Abilene.
No, they just went along with it.
unrealistic.
This absolutely happened. This is the point of this is why it's called the Abilene
How
paradox.
old were these kids?
I think between like 10 and 15. Yeah,
Well, I thought
just
they
went
were
along
people
with it.
who did not go like,
I don't want to go to Abilene, Texas.
Well, some of them probably didn't know, but they actually knew where they were from. Texas, knew where Abilene was. This is a true story. That's why it's called this. Hannah doesn't believe me, but you can go look it up. That's why it's called the Abilene paradox. We will say yes when we mean no. We won't talk about the elephant in the room. Okay, here's a better one. See if you agree. Guys, you ever seen women with lipstick on their teeth? You say anything?
No.
It doesn't matter what it is. Don't point anything out without appearance.
Why? You ever get home, you got a booger hanging? You're like, Jesus.
Oh, with other dudes? Absolutely, yeah.
Why can't you tell? Do you want to know if you got lipstick on your teeth? Do you want to know? Yeah, right? Because otherwise you go in the mirror and you're going to see it. Like, shit, I just talked to him for 10 minutes. You tell me I had lipstick on my teeth? Okay? If my fly's down, for God's sakes, y'all better say something. Okay? Don't say anything. We won't talk about the elephant in the room, huh?
I was gonna say, like, if the fly down, like, you don't say anything, because then it, like, means you were looking there. Don't do that.
Sometimes it's pretty obvious. Man, you got to just... I think I want to know if my fly's down, okay? Be on YouTube and everything. Maybe I'll get more views, okay? Recognize a once promising plan is no longer going to work, okay? Don't want to go to Abilene, say something, okay? I like this meme. This is your buddies. This is students in class. This is the workforce. The Dunning-Kruger effect. Individuals with a low level of knowledge in a particular subject think they have better ability than it is. They're not that smart. They don't have it figured out, but they think they're shit hot, right? Okay. On the opposite end, if you actually are an expert, you will undervalue your own expertise. You don't think you know that much. Okay? Happens all the time. You'll see it in the workforce. Okay? Self-serving bias. Okay, when you take a test and it doesn't go well, whose fault is it? Huh? Always. Always the professor, right? Okay? Whose fault is it really? Yours. Yeah. Could you have studied harder? Could you have asked questions? Could you have gone to the prof for help? Yes. But if you don't do well, whose fault is it? Profs? Okay, if you do well, who deserves the credit? I did it, right? Not the outstanding, amazing professor that you have. Okay. Now, I'll tell you, to me, this is a sign of a good manager / football coach. If Jimbo wins the game, where's the credit go? The players. If Aggies lose, whose fault is it? You can usually spot good coach, manager, mentor, whatever, with that exact same reasoning, right? If things go poorly and there's like, I told them what to do, right? This is your fish, okay? This is your underclassman. If it doesn't go well, whose fault is it? Fish, just like the prof, right? It's yours, okay? It's on you, right? Status quo. We tend to prefer things as they already are. They can have a big impact on our own choices, okay? You want to be a physician?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You too, right, Alex? Okay. if there's too many choices to make, right, we won't make one. Physicians will often get overwhelmed with like, well, we may not, and they don't know what to do and won't make a decision. You got to make a decision. Okay? This leads to repeating mistakes. Don't make a decision. And look, if there's not a right or a wrong, you have to make the hard decision. Right? We're often afraid to do that. Hang in there. We're almost done. Okay? We have a hard time cutting our losses. Even that if knowing that if we keep going, it'll result in greater losses. This isn't just money, it's time, political capital, finite resources, okay? It leads to irrational escalation. Has anybody bought a car on their own? Yeah, how'd it go?
Pretty damn good.
Good? Okay. Stone? Okay, good. Tether?
Yep, 2,000 left, almost done.
Okay, good. If you go to the car lot, okay, you're buying your first home, right, condo, whatever it is, you're out there making money. You're going to find a place right where you want it, right on Mission Bay in San Diego. Does that work? No? Where do you want to be? You going to stay? My man. Okay. They don't want you here, by the way, but that's okay. All right. You and your In-N-Out burger. Communists, right? Okay, find a place. Where in Texas do you want to be?
Maybe Dallas.
Dallas? Okay. Find a nice place. Let's say you're in Arlington. Man, you can walk to Rangers games. Okay, you're right there. You can find this awesome condo. Like, I'm making some money. I'm good. If you fall in love with the place or the car or whatever it is, and they know that, they're going to start jacking the price up. Okay. My truck got totaled. I was trying to buy a new one. I was like, okay, they won't come down. And right now it's terrible, right? Because there's no chips and there's no used cars and stuff like that. And they put a fee on $1,600 above the asking price. I'm like, no, that's not a real fee. Okay, take it off. Otherwise, it's bait and switch. And they wouldn't do it. Literally wouldn't do it. Okay? A couple years ago, I was buying the first truck I bought, and they made up a $1,000 fee. I go, what's that for? And they go, well, it's a diesel fee, and there's new tires on the truck. Tires come with the truck, bro. And there's no diesel fee unless it's commercial grade, right? And they wouldn't take it off. And I never do this, but I was like, oh, this is how you treat a veteran, huh? I just dropped that line in there. Okay. It'll lead to irrational decisions, okay? But they know that you want that condo, right? Or they know you want that vehicle. You have to be willing to walk away. Don't make it emotional. Temporal discounting, group of biases connected to our own desire for instant gratification. All right, this is the small reward, the $300 versus the $1,000. Okay? Some of you are taking $300, some of you can wait. You will downplay future negative consequences of decisions that have positive consequences right now. You don't think about the long-term effect. Usually when I offer the money, some people will be like, oh, I'll take the $300 and turn it into $1,000. No, you won't. No, you won't. Okay. The odds of getting that return are next to nothing. Okay. Last one, conformity. Who's bothered by the fact that this is off to the side? Yeah. Some of you are like, this, everything was in the middle. Leave it in the middle. Okay. It's why you're in the core, right? Our desire for conformity is so powerful it can distort our view of reality at the most basic level. Did a study, took a group of people like you, showed you a flashcard. There's 3 lines on the card. One of them is clearly longer than the other. Okay, and then they're going to ask you, which line is longest, 1, 2, or 3? Okay, you know which line is longest. But they put a group of actors in the study, and they start saying the wrong line is longest. What do you do? Huh?
I would bet people on one.
Yeah, they go right along with it. Your own eyes and brain know it's the wrong line, but your sense of conformity is so strong, you will cave and go along with the group. Don't believe me, look at your clothes. Okay? All right, do we see ourselves in there? Why did I show this to you? Because we all have our own biases. All of us. Okay, last week, right, we asked questions about tacos and hamburgers. You guys get upset, right? Tastes like heroin needles, is that what you said? Yeah.
It's like heroin needles. They're all over the streets.
I don't know why you've eaten heroin needles, but
I just know Cali has literal shit and heroin needles all over the place. So.
not all over. It's a giant state, right? It's a beautiful state, isn't it, Alex? Yeah, we just need to start. We just need to start over, okay? We need to start over and redo it, okay? Because it is physically a beautiful place, right? We all have our own biases. Most of these you're not even aware of, right? Why does that matter? Yeah, and for yourselves, right? What are you reading about every week? Hopefully. Your constraints, right? Some of you haven't hit on them yet. That's okay. But some of them you're like, holy crap. Some of you even written, you're like, I didn't know this was me. And it's completely me. Right? We're all guilty of this stuff. All of us. We believe it or not. Okay? Even you, Wes. We all have flaws. Okay? Ryan has a lot of them. Okay? We need to be aware of them so that we can work on them. Or so we can work with other people. As we get through and finish reading all the 10 constraints, we'll start talking about how to deal with them. Okay? Because you're going to have to work with these people. You got to work with people who disagree with you, have their own biases, have their own constraints, all that good stuff. And you also need to know about yourself, right? How to handle it. Questions? Okay. I know today was a little lecture heavy, clearly the wrong day because you guys are dragging ass right now. Okay. Good. We're good for the week. Same thing. We'll just do a reading, not have ILDP. So just the 2 chapters for discussion post this week. Sound good? Okay. Anybody going to the game Saturday? Me and the band. Is the band going? Don't even know. All right. I guess I'll figure it out. We're done a little early. Go be awesome. Have a great week. Thanks for showing up.